Granderson, Mark Teixeira, and yes, Alex Rodriguez back in the lineup, just off the disabled list. Robinson Cano, Nick Swisher, Russell Martin, Brent Gardner, and Eduardo Nunez.
And it will be Nick Blackburn on the mound, looking for his 8th win of the year, making his 26th start. The last win came before the All-Star break, that on July 8th in Chicago. And since that time, over his last 7 starts, 0-4 with a 5.40 ERA. He does have a winning record against the Yankees. Not too many Twins starters can say that. In 6 career starts, he's 2-1 with a 4.73 earned run average.
Northland Ford defense for the Twins kind of jumbled up a little bit today. Not so much the outfield, so Sony, Revere, and Kubel. But the infield with Tolbert at short, Nishioka with a bad back, Plouffe at second, Mauer at first, Justin Morneau with a banged up foot, and Drew Butera behind the plate.
The key for Blackburn here this afternoon is, now he's not as wild as Liriano. He's more of a control type pitcher, but work both sides of the plate. I think the games that we've seen, Dick, where he's pitched his best, he's pitched left-handers in and then that sinker away. Same the right-handers. Run that ball in on right-handers and then establish down and away. We'll see how Blackburn attacks this very good offensive Yankee ball club.
Jeter, their designated hitter, and he's in the box to get things started, and Blackburn delivers a fastball, strike one. Swing and a miss, strike two.
There's a good pitch inside right there, and some good movement on that pitch. Blackburn's been fighting his delivery a little bit. He's trying to just stay back and create that good downward break. That's when he gets that ball to sink a little bit. Up in the zone, it straightens out.
Blackburn, more than any other starter, has been the streakiest starting pitcher for the Twins. Periods of excellence and then periods where he really has struggled. 1 and 2. Tap or foul. And 2 starts ago against the Red Sox, it looked like things were going to turn back his way, and he might be able to rattle off a few good ones in a row. But then in Detroit, another game where he really struggled.
Pitcher coach Rick Anderson keeping a close eye.
Bouncer headed up the middle. Plouffe picks it up, but Jeter beats out an infield hit. So Blackburn gets him to hit it into the ground, and he hits it in the right spot for a leadoff single.
Well, Blackburn making his 26th start, 147 innings so far on the year. That was 183rd hit off of him. He's 3rd in the American League in most hits allowed. Now, he has given up a lot of unearned runs, 17 unearned runs, and that's a lot for a starter. So he needs good defense behind him. 50 walks, 5 intentional, with 76 strikeouts.
Came into the game with the same number of hits allowed as CC Sabathia. That's inside. It gets by Butera, and there goes Jeter to second base. Looks like Butera might have been crossed up on that pitch. Breaking pitch inside, and Butera couldn't glove it.
Yeah, it'll probably be a pass ball because it'll look like, Butera right here, he's maybe expecting fastball in the last second. So definitely a mix-up right there. And we've talked about it before, Dick, with a runner at first base. Twins always use more than one sign, but my goodness, you have to be right on the same page right off the get-go. Can't make mistakes like that.
2-0.
They do give Butera a pass ball.
And now ball 3 down low with Teixeira on deck.
Liriano had 10 3-ball counts last night in his outing. He only walked 3. But that's why that pitch count mounted so high for Liriano.
Well, Granderson walks, and Blackburn's got an immediate jam trying to pitch out of. Teixeira with just monster numbers against the Twins. But then there are some others in the Yankee lineup who've done well over the years, too.
Well, when the Twins have not won too many games against the Yankees, there are going to be a lot of guys in their lineup that have had good success. Teixeira, you see on the right, very good average against the Twins in the 60 games he's played. Got his 1,000 career RBI here the other night.
Blackburn with another breaking pitch in the dirt. Butera had to shift over to make the block. So he'll go to the mound. Tolbert will as well. Blackburn with a pretty rough first 10 pitches here today.
This is one ball club coming in hitting .269. The Yankees, they have 166 home runs. You cannot keep falling behind. And against Nick Blackburn, very good numbers.
There's a fastball on the outside corner. Side 2-1. Blackburn's first 2 pitches were strikes to Jeter. He ended up getting an infield hit. A quick walk to Granderson, and now 2-1 to a very dangerous hitter. There's a tapper up the line, 2-2.
You know, sometimes as a pitcher, when you face the Yankees, and I went through the same thing, they had some great ball clubs when I pitched against the Yankees. You try to, you almost give the opponent too much credit. If you just make your pitches and then you kind of say, okay, if as long as I, make good pitches, they're going to beat you if you keep falling behind in a count. Make good pitches. Hopefully something good will happen.
Fouled away. The other night, Teixeira drove in his 1,000th run of his major league career. So he's been beating up on more teams than just the Twins. Here you hope to get a ground ball hit at somebody and see if the Twins can get 2 outs on 1 pitch. Nearly hit him. It's a full count.
Blackburn's had 13 double plays turned behind him.
Blackburn's thrown some breaking pitches and has really, that was a fastball in the dirt, but he's not been able to control his off-speed stuff. So we'll see what, if anything, the Yankees do with runners. I suspect nothing.
Well, you hope that you throw a fastball. If it's down and away, Butera sitting away, get a ground ball. There you go.
There you go. 1, 2. Double play. Teixeira hits into a huge double play with Jeter moving up to third.
You know, when you're having trouble with your other pitches, you fall into that situation where you have to come in with a fastball. You have to make sure that it's a good pitch, and that's what Blackburn got right there on a 3-2 fastball. Good pitch, had some movement, created the ground ball, and a good turn by the defense. Tolbert hanging in there and getting it over to Mauer to complete the double play. So a big pitch right there by Blackburn.
Just think, I mean, that pitch looked like it was tailing away. Teixeira, if he had taken it, it would have been ball 4. Now bases loaded, nobody out for Rodriguez, and instead, if he can bear down and get Rodriguez, he can get through his difficult first inning.
Always look at a situation when you're struggling. You're one good pitch away from getting out of it. And Blackburn got that big pitch off the bat at Teixeira. Now he's facing Alex Rodriguez, just activated off the disablers. Good fastball inside.
Strike 2.
Work both sides of the plate. That's the key to Blackburn. Good movement and a good frame by Butera.
Missed the same pitch. Down and in.
You go in enough, you have these good hitters thinking, okay, he's going to go in and in. I'm going to open up a little quicker. Opens up the outer half of the plate. You hope.
That time Butera shifted outside and then back inside as Blackburn was going through his windup. 2-2. And now a full count to Rodriguez.
You know, we're all pretty lucky today because we have 2 guys that have hit over 600 home runs, plus a guy that has over 3,000 hits. It's never been done in baseball history before. Pretty cool.
Bouncer to short. Tolbert has it. Blackburn a little wobbly in the first, but it's a scoreless first inning.
Sports North is brought to you by your local Northland Ford dealers. Visit your local Northland Ford dealer or go to northlandford.com. And by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. No score after a half inning. The Yankees had a threat. Blackburn did a nice job pitching out of trouble, and now the Twins will hit in the bottom of the first inning. Menards batting order for the Twins. Ben Revere leading off. Trevor Plouffe second. Joe Mauer, Jason Kubel, Jim Thome hitting fifth. Danny Valencia, Rene Tassoni, Matt Tolbert, and Drew Butera.
Ivan Nova on the mound in his rookie season, making his 21st start, his 22nd appearance. His second against the Twins, his opening day assignment was against the Twins, a winner in New York. And he's been a very nice surprise, 12-4 in his rookie season. And he has not lost over his last 9 starts. He's 8-0 with an ERA at 3.90.
One strike to Ben Revere. Bounce to short. And strong throw by Nunez gets Revere one away. Northland Ford defense for the Yankees, and they've got a little bit of a different look with Jeter, their designated hitter. Gardner, Granders, and Swisher in the outfield. Alex Rodriguez back at third. Nunez over at short. Cano and Teixeira on the right side of the infield, and Russell Martin doing the catching. So one gone quickly, and here's Trevor Plouffe. Strike one. Twins saw Nova back in early April at Yankee Stadium, and we're pretty impressed, and he's had a very impressive rookie season. Curve for a strike.
Yeah, we saw a 4-seam, 2-seam fastball, that curveball right there, little cut slider, another curveball just missing, and a changeup. Just 24 years old, from the Dominican Republic, signed by the Yankees back in 2004.
1-2 to Plouffe, and he got a piece. Baseball brought to you in Sony High Definition. Mentioned he's won 8 straight. He's the first Yankee rookie to win 8 straight decisions since Edwin Whitey Ford.
Whitey Ford.
Flare to right field, and Swisher makes the catch. 2 down.
Well, Nova again making his 21st start, 118 innings pitched, 124 hits allowed, 42 walks, 1 intentional, 69 strikeouts. Nothing that stands out, but except for the 12-4. The ERA a little bit on the high side, but you know, he's battled. They're trying to watch his pitch count a little bit in his rookie season. So he's they're hoping to get 6 or 7 good innings out of Nova here this afternoon.
Up and in to Mauer, the first baseman. Ball 1. Up and away. 2-0. Mauer was in the grand scheme of things going to get a day off today, but then Morneau came up with a bum foot that Twins needed a first baseman. And Mauer with a liner almost dropped by Nunez. He gathers it in, and Nova has a 1-2-3 first. Beautiful Sunday afternoon at the ballpark. No score after an inning. Nick Blackburn really got himself out of a jam very nicely in that first inning.
Yeah, he really did. Got a ground ball double play off the bat of Mark Teixeira on a 3-2 pitch, and then got Alex Rodriguez to ground out to end that first. 22 pitches, only 11 strikes. Not the Nick Blackburn. So hopefully the second inning will start a little better.
3 balls put in play, all of them on the ground to the infield. Nothing got to the outfield. So we'll see if Blackburn can build off a positive and follow up with a good second inning here against Robinson Cano, Nick Swisher, and Russell Martin. Fouled away, 1 strike.
You know, there's some hitters that will take that first pitch, and I think we've seen in this now the 4th game of this 4-game series, Cano, a guy that goes up there, he's ready to swing. He's ready to look for that first fastball or first pitch and try to put it in place hard somewhere. Very good hitter.
Blackburn misses inside. Whether by design or not, we've seen Blackburn really come inside to the left-handed batters.
That's important for him because with the 4-seamer inside, that 2-seamer can work away. So he has 2 parts of the plate. The 3rd inside and the 3rd outside. Stay away from that other 3rd, and that's down the middle of the plate.
How'd you put it in the start against the Red Sox pitching east and west, right?
Right. Don't worry about north and south as much as working in and out. Like that. Good pitch.
2-2.
Hey, I want to say happy 100th birthday to Mary Milton from Belle Plaine, celebrating her 100th birthday. Well, happy birthday, young lady.
Great Twins fans down in the Belle Plaine area. Made a caravan stop there this winter. 2-2 to Cano. And again inside, another full count, 3-ball count from Blackburn.
And we have another birthday, Deb Repla, Joe Repla's wife. She's celebrating birthday number 60. I wasn't supposed to say that, but she's 60 here today. So Deb, happy birthday to you.
Full count to Cano starting the second inning. Bouncer. And a play for Plouffe. 1 down. Bauer making the catch at first because Justin Morneau last night fouled a ball off his foot, and he was limping around the ballpark last night and today. It's our Sanford Health injury update. Morneau with yet another body part giving him trouble.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. That looked like that hurt.
So 1 down, again a ground ball, and Nick Swisher the hitter.
I think anybody that's ever played the game, if they foul the ball off their foot, they know what Justin went through with that. You know, maybe the ball's coming in about 90 miles an hour, and then you swing it hard, and then once it leaves that bat right off get-go, it's traveling about 100 miles an hour. You hit it right on your instep. That's smart.
How about to try to, if you ever hit your thumb with a hammer, it must be that type of a pain, I would imagine.
Or a frying pan over your head. Have you ever hit your head over with a frying pan?
That's never happened to me. I was trying to, give a life experience that, our fans would be able to relate to. Just because your dad or mom hit you over the head with a frying pan doesn't mean it's a common experience.
Only a couple times. Nice play by Mick Kelleher, the first base coach.
2-1 to Nick Swisher.
But I was running, so it didn't hurt his bat.
And he fouls it off a leg. 2-2.
Well, you get that fastball in there, and then you can throw that breaking ball in there, too, just like you did, and kind of tied Nick Swisher up, able to foul it off. That's the fun part of pitching, when you can hit both sides of the plate, because this is a good hitting ball club. You have to work both sides of the plate against these guys.
And he missed.
And if you miss inside.
Another 3-2 count. He's faced 6 batters. He's had 5 full counts. And I guess everybody except Jeter in the leadoff spot. And a walk puts Swisher aboard.
Second walk for Blackburn.
Martin to the plate after the game on Fox Sports North. Joined Tom Brokaw for Boys in the Hall. The personal stories of some of baseball's greatest legends. This week it's Larry Doby. Made it into the Hall of Fame far later than he should have. Boys in the Hall after the game, presented by Subway Restaurants, where winners eat. You look at Larry Doby's numbers, who was in essence the Jackie Robinson of the American League. Very comparable numbers, and Jackie deservedly so got in right away. And it never, in my mind, should have taken Larry Doby as long to get to the Hall of Fame.
I agree. There's Jackie Robinson's number, retired by every team in baseball.
Twins brought Larry Doby in shortly before his Hall of Fame induction and then his subsequent death to pay tribute to Jackie Robinson. Rachel Robinson, his widow, was here as well. The Twins put together a nice ceremony. I suppose that was about 15 years ago already. 1-0 to Russell Martin. 2-0.
Pretty good numbers for Martin as far as RBIs and home runs. He averaged down a little bit. Came into this year from the Dodger organization, where he is a .272 hitter, two-time National League All-Star. And as you look at this lineup, you look at Martin, Gardner, and then Nunez. Pretty good 1, 2, 3 down at the bottom of the lineup for Joe Girardi.
6th straight batter where Blackburn has had a 3-ball count. 3-0 to Martin, who cranked a couple of home runs here the other night. And he takes all the way in. It's a strike.
We've seen a lot of the Yankee hitters standing right on top of the plate, as close as they can in that batter's box. Martin, one of those. We saw Francisco Cervelli, the same thing. Stand right on top of the plate.
3-1. And now 3-2. And it's going to be in one sense, a long day for Nick Blackburn, but in another, a short one if this continues.
And this will be his 40th pitch already, trying to get the second out here in the second inning. Kevin Long, the pitching or the hitting coach, right there talking to Cano.
Runner goes, and it's ball 4. So back-to-back walks, both of them on 3-2 pitches. And the Yankees, on the strength of 3 walks, have had Blackburn in hot water all afternoon long. Three starts ago, Blackburn had a start, a short one that where he issued 6 walks. Start before that 5. This from a guy who has gone a month without walking 6 guys.
Yeah, that's again, sometimes you give that other team too much credit that, just hit your spots. And Blackburn maybe trying to be a little bit too fine here. He needs another good sinker down and away to maybe get a ground ball. It's going to have to be a quick double play off this guy's bat. Brett Gardner very quick down that first base line. Take away the bunt too.
Strike on the outside corner. Gardner with a look back at Ron Kulpa, calling balls and strikes. One and one. They imported Chad Fairchild to join this crew. Brian O'Nora out with a health issue. And we had just 3 umpires last night, but we're back to the full complement of 4. One and one to Gardner. Breaking ball hits the corner. We haven't seen many of those. We saw a few in the first inning, but they were all augured into the dirt.
Blackburn now working ahead in the count.
One and two to Gardner. And the Yankees are wearing Nick Blackburn down and out. Close pitch taken for ball 2.
I think, you'd like to blame it on the Yankees, but Blackburn's really struggling, with his control right now.
.44 pitches, only 20 strikes. That's flip foul.
Well, if you're thinking strikeouts right now, Blackburn has averaged about 4 to 5 strikeouts per innings. And this is what I was talking about, his last, win coming before the All-Star break. And that was July 8th in Chicago.
2-2. And a bouncer over the roof of the Twins dugout. That was one of the highlights of the Twins season. Twins took 3 out of 4 against the White Sox, almost swept them in a 4-game series in Chicago just prior to the break. And I think a lot of people thought, okay, they're teed up ready to go for the second half. And it's just been an assortment of struggles since the All-Star break. 2-2. And another full count. Gardner hitting 8th. He's the 7th consecutive batter to have a full count.
It all goes down to starting pitching, Dick. Since the All-Star break, the starter staff for the Twins have been very inconsistent. Very inconsistent. Nobody's really taken charge.
We'll see if the Yankee runners go. Swisher at second, Martin at first. Blackburn, every ball that's been put in play has been hit on the ground. This one lifted foul. The runners were staying put. Got a crazy game in Detroit. Ubaldo Jimenez gave up 7 early runs for the Tigers. Rick Porcello knocked out in the 4th. He couldn't protect a 7-0 lead at 7-5. We're kind of stuck in the mud here in the top of the second. Another 3-2 pitch to Gardner. And another walk. 3rd consecutive walk.
Yeah, that'll bring out pitching coach Rick Anderson to try to get Blackburn back in the strike zone.
Along with Dave Prumer, the trainer. And I think Blackburn asked that Dave Prumer be brought out as well.
Kind of checking that elbow area. Ron Gardenhire now on his way out. Maybe feeling something, yeah.
Well, the same thing happened. Now, through his struggles, Blackburn's maintained all along his elbow has been strong. Remember, both he and Scott Baker in the offseason had their elbow worked on. Baker's been on the disabled list twice, and now Blackburn has to leave with 1 out and the bases full in the second.
Elbow was barking.
And an early pitching change here at Target Field. He's just beginning his warm-up tosses because of an injury to Nick Blackburn. Swarzak will start the process of warming up and will tell everyone when he's ready to go. Yesterday afternoon, Jim Thome, Derek Jeter were nice enough to give us some of their time, talk about their milestones reached this year. Jeter is 3,000th hit, Thome his 600th home run, and the question to each of them was, why keep playing? What is there left in this game that you enjoy out of it?
It's win a world championship. I mean, he's probably got enough to fill every finger that he has, you know, and that's I think what has set his legacy apart from any player that's probably played the game. I think that's what, you know, what eats at you is that chance to celebrate and look in your teammates' eyes, and Derek can attest for that. You know, you look in your teammates' eyes. I have not done that, but to celebrate and look in their eyes and to see the reaction, it's got to be priceless.
No, and that Jim Thome is right on right there. That's why you keep playing the game after what Thome's been able to accomplish, 600-plus home runs. You want to win a championship. Jeter has 5 rings, you know, and Jim Thome, you pray that day comes, but Jim Thome also, there's a lot of guys in the Hall of Fame that never experienced that, and the Twins have a couple of those in Rod Carew and Harmon Killebrew.
Well, Derek Jeter's got a whole bunch of World Series rings, so why does he keep playing?
You know, I enjoy competition regardless of what it is. If you want to race me down the hallway, then I'm going to try to beat you. I just enjoy that. If I didn't enjoy coming to the field every day and playing, then I wouldn't be doing it. And the goal is simple. You know, we want to win. Jimmy will tell you the same thing. It's you want to win a championship, and that has never changed.
The love of the game. You know, you come to the ballpark, you can't, it's hard to explain the camaraderie that you have with your teammates year in and year out, but also the desire to win. And he's been very fortunate. He's with an organization that has paid a lot of money to keep that winning tradition going. And Derek Jeter's a big reason why they have won over the years.
Well, Anthony Swarzak comes into a tough spot here with 1 out. 3 consecutive walks and an injury of some sort have taken Nick Blackburn off the field. And now Eduardo Nunez will come up.
Well, remember, Swarzak worked here on Friday night after Kevin Slowey was asked to leave in the 6th inning. Swarzak, at that time, we say, boy, this is going to be good because hopefully he can finish the ballgame. He worked 3 innings, gave up 3 hits through 54 pitches here on Friday night.
Bauer playing in front of the runner at first. Nunez runs very well, and there's ball 1, and Butera looked like he's crossed up again. My goodness. Butera looked like that ball almost hit him in the mask. And they had just talked about this.
Wow. He's looking breaking ball, and it's a fastball.
Well, you're already in a ticklish situation here. Bases loaded, 1 out for the Yankees. And
I didn't, you know, myself, what I always did was first sign after 2, and if I shook off, give me 1 sign. I didn't play that game with indicator and all that stuff. My goal was to make good pitches, not to try to cross up my catcher. Make it easy.
2-0 now to Nunez. Runners all over the place because of walks. And 3-0. Ideally, Swarzak, because of his workload the other night, would be given at least another day, but obviously these are not ideal circumstances.
He's got to come back in with fastballs now. There's 1. And Nunez taking right there. He knows he's going to get another one. And Swarzak just hoping he has something on it and maybe he can hit it at somebody. Or pop it up.
He gets a swing and a miss to get what? Another full count.
Well,
struck him out, 2 down. So he was 1 pitch away from walking in a run at 3-0, and he came back and put 3 of them in a row past the number 9 hit.
Those strikes, you don't know what might happen. And Swarzak down 3-0, comes back and gets a big strikeout.
9 batters have come to the plate. Only 4 have been retired. 4 have walked. There's been a single. It was an infield hit by the guy in the box now, Derek Jeter. The bottom line is, to this point, the Yankees haven't scored a run.
Well, let's keep it that way. Let's get this guy out.
Strike one.
You know, as Jeter moves up the ladder as far as all-time hits leaders, he's only 3 hits now behind Rod Carew.
One strike to Jeter.
Rod ended his career with 3,053 hits.
2 strikes. Swarzak running one up and in on Jeter. I don't know that a pitcher can get a standing ovation in the 2nd inning. Swarzak gets out of this. He's going to get very warmly received.
Yeah, fans are already applauding. Let's keep those applause going.
2 strikes to Jeter. 1-2.
Good pitch right there. Like Blackburn, Swarzak has that 2-seam fastball that'll run in on right-handed hitters. Watch Butera move. And back in again. And just missing inside.
2-2.
And you know this got to go to 3-2.
I'd rather it not, because
Yeah.
all sorts of weirdness
Right.
happens on the bases. And
Yeah, big pitch right here for Swarzak.
Two and 2 to Jeter. Tapper foul, and Jeter did a nice job making contact on a tough pitch. Reached across the plate and tapped it foul. Swarzak struck out Nunez with a belt-high fastball over the inside corner. Foul tip, and Butera can't hang on. The fans reacted behind home plate because they could not see the ball in the dirt. So Jeter fouls off another 2-2 pitch. To right field. How about that? 2 painfully long and miserable innings, but the Yankees have not scored yet.
Fox Sports North sends our heartfelt thanks to military members and their families, and you can too show your support and send your messages of thanks at foxsportsnorth.com by clicking on the Joining Forces logo on our website. Send out your thanks. And late last night, I got an email from Iraq from Aaron McGowan, who's from Lakeville, Minnesota, and you'll see this photo in a moment. He's a lifetime Twins fan. In his second tour in Iraq, the far guy on the left, all the way in the back, that's Aaron right there. The others in this picture, part of the first platoon Charlie Company, and they're huge Twins fans. All the guys in that pic. Dick, go ahead.
Fly ball to center. Granderson has it, one away.
And you look at those guys in that picture, all the guys in that picture are from Twins territory, and they're all big Twins fans. Dick and Bert, next year these guys are hoping to return home in time for opening day 2012 at Target Field. And boys, I know some of them are going to be watching this on a tape delay. They're out in the field right now. Some are watching live, and their families will wish them a safe return. And we hope to see you here at opening day next year at Target Field.
Yeah, thank you, Robbie. Sergeant Aaron McGowan, thank you very much, from Lakeville, Minnesota, deployed with the Charlie Company 194th Minnesota National Guard. Thank you, guys.
Ball one, and now Tomey takes a strike. Tomey's had a little bit of a neck issue the last couple games, back in the starting lineup here this afternoon. And an off-speed pitch over for strike two. Two and two. I'm sure there were times when Mays and Aaron played against each other, and at that time both were members of the 600 home run club. But what we've got here today has got to be rare in baseball. Swing and a miss. Tomey's gone on strikes, out number two. I mean, match up the players from the same era, and you wonder how many times a starting lineup has had two members of the 600 home run club.
And then you throw in a guy with over 3,000 hits. I was told that this is the first time that's ever happened. And there's Jim Tomey with 601 home runs, trying to get to Sammy Sosa and hopefully past him.
Two down. Here's Danny Valencia. And a breaking ball over for a strike. Valencia cranked his 13th home run of the year yesterday in the second inning.
He jumped on a A.J. Burnett fastball for first pitch of the inning. And two straight breaking balls, and Danny's kind of backed away from both of them.
Two and one.
Now, opponents coming into the ball game against Nova hitting 268. Left-handers are hitting 237, but right-handers are hitting 299. He's given up 12 home runs, and he split those between righties and lefties. Nice smooth delivery. Gets to that balance point and then explodes toward home plate.
A one-hop rocket fielded by Nunez. What a nifty play. Valencia hit the stuffing out of the ball, and Nunez stayed with it to turn it into an out.
Minnesota Twins baseball is brought to you by Explore Minnesota. Visit exploreminnesota.com to plan your next Minnesota vacation today. The inspiration for one of the most clever ads the Twins have ever had, the real Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox. Of course, the commercial featured Jim Thome. That's in Bemidji, located up in northern Minnesota. They greeted visitors on the shore of Lake Bemidji for almost 60 years.
It's a big man. And that's a big man right there, too, Jim Thome.
Curtis Granderson to start the third inning against Anthony Swarzak as part of Fox Sports North Operation Home Base. We highlight organizations that provide support for our service members and their families, and one such group is the St. Paul-based Serving Our Troops. And joining us in the booth today, a founding member of Serving Our Troops, St. Paul City Council member Pat Harris. Pat, thanks for stopping by. You get to watch a beautiful, a nice ball game at a beautiful ballpark. But tell us a little bit about Serving Our Troops and its origin.
Well, thanks so much for the opportunity. Serving Our Troops started when a bunch of us were at Mancini's one night in 2004, and that's a surprise for us St. Paul guys. And we thought it was kind of unfair that we could be at Mancini's and our troops, our soldiers that were serving overseas, couldn't be there at the same time. And so that very night in 2004, we decided that we were going to bring Mancini's and all sorts of other St. Paul restaurants to our Minnesota National Guard soldiers and other soldiers throughout the world.
Where have you provided these meals to our deployed service members?
You know, we've now done 55,000 steaks in 8 projects all over the world. We've done it in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, Camp Shelby, Mississippi, Iraq twice, Kosovo twice, St. Paul, of course. We've pretty much been all over the place. We just came back from Fort McCoy in Wisconsin, where we did about 6,000 steaks for National Guard members and their families.
Beautiful.
When you say steaks, I'm assuming baked potato, all the trimmings and everything, right?
Oh, you bet. And then we're at home, we can serve ice-cold beer as well.
Coors Light, of course.
Shell's products, of course. Our friends from New Ulm, of course.
Well, I would imagine if you do it overseas, Iraq and other remote outposts, that's got to really complicate the process, though, doesn't it?
You know, it is an extremely complicated thing because we actually bring our steaks with us, and we have restaurant tours from all the great restaurants in St. Paul and throughout Minnesota, actually, that come there, and we cook the steaks, we bring them there, and then what we do is we live video link the entire operation with all their families back at home.
Oh, that's great.
So it really is dinner with the family, which is something that we thought was so important and that people were missing.
Pat, how can people get involved and contribute to Serving Our Troops?
You know, there's a lot of ways to help. ServingOurTroops.com is a great resource. We always need financial contributions. We always need volunteers. The Twins have been fabulous for us. Pat Klinger and Dave St. Peter have just been heroes for us. We've got a lot of great companies that support us, but sponsorships and people getting on that website at ServingOurTroops.com, they can learn all about all of our 8 projects, and this is really a unique Minnesota operation, I will tell you that.
St. Paul City Council member Pat Harris, thanks for stopping by. We needed a 1-2-3 inning, and we needed to hear about Serving Our Troops. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pat.
this summer. Find out how giving back bottle caps can give returning vets a piece of the high life. Go to MillerHighLife.com for details. No score after 2.5 innings. Twins are already into their second pitcher. Nick Blackburn left because of an injury. We'll get an update on that if we can. And meanwhile, Ivan Nova has had a couple of 1-2-3 innings. He'll face Tassone, Tolbert, and Butera.
Oh, very nice of Pat Harris to come up here with serving our troops, and he brought us some aprons too. Very nice. We'll be using those this winter. Doing a little Barbie.
Okay, I'll be using them this winter too when I'm out on the ice. Get a little portable grill. Ice fishing, making brats on the ice. The bib will go over my parka, and it'll look very nice.
That sounds cold.
Tell you what, a couple of weeks ago, I was thinking a lot about ice fishing when it was 107 in Texas. 2-1 to Tassone, and now 3-1, and what do you know? Twins batter has a 3-ball count. Nova coming off his rockiest start of the year against the Kansas City Royals. There's a little chopper to first, and Teixeira falls down. He spun his wheels as he was running to the bag, and the Twins get a base runner on an error.
Well, sure-handed Mark Teixeira. You don't see this too often from this Gold Glove winner. Trying to maybe get it and then, hurry his to get to the bag. Tassone hustling down the line. He tried to pick it right there, took his eye off the ball. The ball clanked, and the Twins have a base runner.
Yeah, he actually didn't lose his footing at all. The ball bounced out of his glove, and he tried to stop his progress toward first base. So it's an error on Teixeira, and Tolbert at the plate.
Yeah, for Teixeira, just his third error of the year.
Tolbert drops down a bunt. And Martin fires and gets Tolbert. After dropping a sacrifice down, Tassone goes to second. Let's find out what Nick Blackburn's issue is from Robbie Inzmakowski.
Well, that issue, Dick, is a right lateral forearm strain for Nick Blackburn. We don't have immediate word on the condition of it or the severity, but we do know he will be further evaluated later today and into tomorrow. But Blackburn officially left the game with a right lateral forearm strain.
Yeah, the 4 walks for Blackburn, very unusual. And right there, Dave Prumer coming out. And that man's done that a lot this summer.
Well, here's Drew Butera with Tassone at second and 1 away. This one hit to the right field corner, but it's turning right now. I know the basics of human anatomy, okay? But and the less we talk about that, the better, I suppose. But it sure sounds to me like where they're talking about with Blackburn is exactly where Scott Baker's issue was.
You know what, Dick? I think sometimes anytime, and I went through the elbow surgery too, you start favoring your elbow and then you put more stress on other parts of either your shoulder or the top part of your elbow area. And I think both of them have, now both of them have gone through that problem.
But again, Blackburn, unlike Baker, who's admitted some tightness and some discomfort in that forearm area through the middle months of the season, Blackburn has maintained all along his struggles had nothing to do with that. He's been healthy. There's a fly to left. It's hanging in the air for Gardner, and that's the second out.
But you know what? That's pitching. I mean, he could have did it out in the bullpen and said, I'm okay through the ball game, and then it just kind of just flared up even more.
Twins and Orioles open up a 4-game series tomorrow. Tickets available throughout the series, but Tuesday night it's a Sports Authority value pack game. You purchase a ticket in the U.S. Bank Home Run Porch and get a free Schweigert hot dog and Pepsi. Tickets are limited for the game. Call 800-33-TWINS or visit twinsbaseball.com. And I was told before the game today that there are tickets available for all 4 games against the Orioles. So if you want to come out and watch the Twins in this stunning ballpark, opportunities exist here against the Orioles.
You know, I'm like you, Dick. I don't know, all those things about kinesiology and all that stuff, but all I know is to throw a baseball, it's one of the most unnatural things to do. Your arm is kind of built to throw almost like a softball, where you go over the head, you're putting stress on the shoulder, the elbow. There's a lot of parts that come into play. So, Blackburn and, like you said, Baker, they went through the surgery last year. It wasn't a major surgery, even though every surgery is major. It wasn't like a ligament that have to be replaced like the Tommy John. It was just more out, a clean out type of surgery.
2 strikes to Revere.
It becomes more of a mental thing sometimes, and now it's a physical thing for them.
Revere strikes out. The Twins still don't have a hit. They did get a runner in scoring position, and we have 3 scoreless innings. The best stories start here. And by AT&T. Beautiful Sunday afternoon at Target Field. We've had kind of a rugged start for the Twins. Nick Blackburn out with a forearm strain. There's only been 1 hit in the game. It was an infield hit. But Blackburn walked 4 men before he left. Now Anthony Swarzak had to pull the Twins fat out of the fire in the second. Then he pitched a 1-2-3 third. Cano, Swisher, and Martin will hit against Swarzak here in the 4th. I don't know, I've always really enjoyed Sunday afternoons at the ballpark. There's just something special about it, even more so now that we're outdoors here in Minnesota. And I think it's because where I grew up in western Minnesota, Sunday afternoon was when the town team played. And it was part of the day. We'd get up, go to church in the morning, and then we'd go out in the baseball field and watch the Dumont Saints play. Here's a fly ball to left. Sony with the catch, 1 away. But that was like the big social event of the town of the whole week. 1 down. AT&T trivia. In 2007, who collected his 3,000th hit, and who hit his 600th home run? Let's see. It'd be easy to get the 600th home run. It's either Sosa or Griffey, I would imagine.
It's the only time that's happened in the season. A 3,000 hit and then the 600 home run until this year.
Swisher with a half swing and a strike. Do you have Southern California? Do they even have town team baseball?
No.
Swarzak makes Swisher move his feet.
They had leagues around, but I don't believe because of the logistics of so many small cities, they just kind of combined all of them together.
My town had 200 people in it, so I'm guessing just about every town had its own team. They play on typically Wednesday nights and Sunday afternoons. 1-1. And a strike on the inside corner.
Well, that's kind of way that baseball was created. I mean, back in the 1700s, where they had the more or less, it wasn't baseball connected, it was baseball, 2 words. Right. And they had the town teams, and every town team had a ball or 2, and that's what they played with. And every ball wasn't the same, and they didn't have seams on it. It was more of a leather ball. and somebody in each town was responsible for making up the baseballs. It's kind of cool if you go back into baseball history.
2-2, and Swisher takes a call, third strike, 2 down. Well, Anthony Swarzak has just been brilliant. 2 1/3 perfect innings after Blackburn's imperfect inning.
Well, I tell you what, I think this is why Ron Gardenhire and Rick Anderson love this guy so much, because of his resiliency to come back. I mean, he threw 54 pitches the other night, and you know, we've seen him before pitch 9 innings or 7 or 8 innings. He'll say, you know, I'm available the next day.
I got an inning if you need one. Here's Martin, walked in the second inning. See, town team baseball, that was a source of income for me, because we could retrieve foul balls, and we got a dime when we returned them to the dugout.
Oh, a dime. See, we used to get snow cones.
Bouncer to third, Valencia.
Then I'd sell the snow cone for a quarter. See, I was ahead.
Another really good inning for Anthony Swarzak. Player of the game, you can cast your vote. Text the word value followed by a space in the player's name to short code 234-234. He's probably done for the day, but that the Twins are in this game at all, there's no score in the game, due largely to a wonderful performance by Anthony Swarzak.
Well, again, he threw 54 pitches here on Friday night, and Rick Anderson went over there, kind of patted him on top of the head, gave him a fist, and said, hey, great job by Anthony Swarzak. 32 pitches in the 2 2/3 innings of shutout baseball for Swarzak.
Now a starter has to go 5 innings to qualify for a win. In Swarzak's case, if the Twins were to score a couple of runs here, technically he could get the win if the official score deems it appropriate. DeMatre will be the next pitcher for the Twins. Here's a fly to right, and Swisher's over to make the catch. Meanwhile, offensively, the Twins have done absolutely nothing against Ivan Nova. Didn't get much done against Phil Hughes on Friday night. And so far, Nova's just kept them in check. They haven't had a base hit yet.
And the pitch count outstanding so far. 35 pitches here in the 4th inning. 34 pitches.
Bauer hit the ball hard. He's about the only guy who has. He hit a liner to the shortstop Nunez to wrap up the 1st inning. Ball 1. strike.
You know, in yesterday's ball game, we saw Joe Mauer get a base hit, you know, toward right field. Look where Nick Swisher is playing out here in right field. They're really giving Joe Mauer the right field line. Granderson shading him over to left center.
And now 2-1 to Mauer.
You say why, but you know, most of Joe's hits this year have been exactly where they're lined up. Or to left center down that left field line.
They're playing him like they play Ben Revere, only about 5 steps deeper. 3-1. Twins will take base runners any way they can get them at this point.
See if Joe can get a fastball here and turn on it.
Flipped foul down the left field line. 3-2.
Gardy mentioning about Joe Mauer that his legs still aren't real strong, and you know that has to do, I think when he first came back we saw him really hit the ball sharper. Now I think in time we've seen almost the weakness come back, where that pitch right there, he's got to drive that ball, but he got underneath it. So like a pitch like that, he's just not the Joe Mauer that we have seen over the years. Take a look at this pitch right here. It's a fastball, but Joe, you know, the barrel of a bat still underneath that ball. Just not popping.
Pulls a base hit to right through the hole. So he didn't hit the ball hard, but he hit it in a good spot. The Twins take their first hit with 1 out in the 4th. You can follow the Twins with MLB.com at Bat 11 for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get all the scores, stats, highlights, live audio, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit twinsbaseball.com for details. Here's Kubel. Jason with a fly ball to center, his first time up. Short center. Inside, ball 1.
Kubel had been struggling a little bit at the plate yesterday, kind of came out of that with 3 hits and 5 at-bats.
And it might be a double play ball. Nunez to Cano to Teixeira. That ends the inning. Twins get a hit. Nova faces just 3. We've got 4 scoreless innings here at Target Field.
Hi to all the men and women in the U.S. Military. Stay safe, come home soon, and we're still rooting for you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. You can tune into Fox Sports North Sunday the 28th, 1 week from today, for Operation Home Base, presented by Miller High Life. We'll be broadcasting live from the Minnesota State Fair. Join us some members of the 147th Attack Battalion, the Minnesota National Guard booth located on the west side of the 4-H building. New Twins pitcher, left-hander Philip DeMatre comes in.
Yeah, DeMatre coming in for a 35th appearance. 29 and a third innings, 28 hits allowed, 15 walks, 3 intentional with 17 strikeouts. Opponents hitting the 252.
And DeMatre will face Brett Gardner, Eduardo Nunez, and Derek Jeter. 2 2/3 innings of perfect relief for Anthony Swarzak, who came into a situation, the bases loaded and 1 out in the second. Blackburn left with a strained forearm, and Swarzak came in and took the game into the 5th inning without the Yankees scoring a run. Here's Gardner, and there's strike 1.
DeMatre making his second appearance in this 4-game series. He worked here on Friday night, faced only one batter, ended up striking Eric Chavez in the top of the 9th inning.
Gardner, the last man Blackburn faced, he walked 3 straight batters, left with his forearm strain. Blackburn faced 8 men, walked half of them. Got 3 ground ball outs and an infield hit. Strike on the outside corner, 1-2.
A 90-mile-an-hour fastball straight over the top from Phil DeMatre.
You don't see that very often. We saw that that Dwayne Belo of the Tigers did that, and it's kind of how a lot of pitchers used to pitch. But now it's kind of a rarity to see somebody straight over the top like that.
Yeah, you see more lefties, go 3/4 or even the sidearm type of delivery. DeMatre, 30 years old in his first season with the Twins. He's pitched for the Reds, the Pirates, and then also pitched in Korea last year.
That's to center, and Revere, nice running catch, 1 away. And Eduardo Nunez coming to the plate. Carsoup.com/baseball question today. Chris Pressure from Mankato, wondering who are the catchers of the bullpen. Who's warming up the guys out there? Used to be Rick Stelmazik, who he was the bullpen coach, and he also did some catching. But now Nate Dahman is out there, and very often you'll see the Nate is on the right, showing Glenn Perkins how to throw a curveball.
From the right as a right-handed pitcher.
And then sometimes the backup catcher will go out there, or when we get to September 1st, there's some call-ups. There'll be another catcher on the roster who'll be out there warming up the pitchers.
They can never have enough catchers.
Nunez at the plate, 1-1. And a strike on the inside corner, 1-2.
One thing you do when you are on top like DeMatre is you create that good downward plane. And that's what he's trying to create. Keep that ball down, and then the breaking ball. There's a fastball in. Even Nick Blackburn is someone that does that. Straight over the top. Take a look. Straight over the top. And you really have to work out front to get that ball down.
3-2. We've had plenty of those before. First time through the order, 7 of the 9 plate appearances resulted in a full count.
Well, Blackburn, there was definitely something wrong with Blackburn, and he was taken out of the ball game with that forearm strain. So we're hoping he's all right.
Sharply hit him through. Nunez has a base hit.
Just a second hit by the Yankees. Up here in our Circle Me Burt section today, in the FSN section, we have Devlin from Roseville, and your pop's with you. Your dad Peter, and you say he's one of the biggest Twins fans ever, and this is your first outdoor baseball. I asked Peter, has he been living in a cave or something? My goodness. But no, welcome to Target Field, and welcome up here to the booth. You are both hereby circled.
Derek Jeter, the hitter. And he takes a pitch up, ball 1.
Well, you see that pitch right there, Dick. You know, I mean, again, you work straight over the top. The work part is finishing it off with your fingers and your wrists. Stay on top of that ball. Like that. That's a good angle right there. So you make the adjustment after the first pitch up in the strike zone. You tell yourself stay back a little bit longer, even though there's a runner at first base, and stay on top of the ball.
1-1. 2-1. Back in the first inning, Blackburn got Teixeira on a 3-2 pitch to hit into a double play. Twins have just hit into one. Trying to patch this game together, getting just an inning and a third from Nick Blackburn. Swarzak taken out after the 4th because of his relief work on Friday night.
Now the Yankees not only have power, they're leading the American League in home runs, they also have speed. Nunez at first base and a couple throwovers. Nunez with 18 stolen bases in 23 attempts.
Runner goes, and the pitch check swing. Gutierrez throw. Safe at second base. Plouffe got to the bag, reached back, tried to make the catch, and dropped the tag down on Nunez, but he's in with a stolen base.
Nunez with his 19th stolen base gets in a scoring position with now 1 out. Got a pretty good jump right there. Good strong throw that tailed back toward right field, and the head first slide.
3-1 now to Jeter. And a walk puts him aboard. Jeter, the first Yankee to pick up 3,000 hits in a Yankee uniform. Babe Ruth didn't get 3,000 hits. Neither did Lou Gehrig. I think a lot of people would be surprised with DiMaggio's low hit number 22-14. Mickey Mantle walked and struck out a lot. He only got 22,415 hits.
That's still a lot of hits.
Only.
Right.
Yeah,
only.
So first and second, 1 down, and here's Granderson.
Well, you're looking at someone special right there in Derek Jeter. The young man's only 37 years old, so he's got some good years left in him.
Nice dig by Butera. Ball 1. Half swing on a strike, 1-1. Granderson walked in the first inning and then hit a fly ball to center in the third. On and 2. Granderson has broken through to be one of the top sluggers in the American League. Dumatre is trying to get him in a key spot here in the 5th. 2-2. Anderson, when he was a member of the Tigers, hands held high and a more erect stance.
Yeah, Ron Coomer talked about this the other day. Now he dropped the hands here, and boy, has it worked for him, especially against left-handed pitchers. Remember in Detroit, you know, Jim Leyland, a lot of times he wouldn't play against some left-handers. Now he's hitting 278 coming into the ball game against lefties.
Swing and a miss. It struck him out. And it's out number 2.
A big strikeout. Good movement on that pitch. Down and in.
2 down. Every Friday you have a chance to win a trip for 2 to Fort Myers, Florida. Stop by a participating Arby's. Pick up your Good Mood Food code card. Then log on to foxsportsnorth.com and click on the Fan Zone tab to enter. Plus, while you're in the Fan Zone, enter to win to see the Lynx battle the Liberty at Target Center. But you've got to be 18 or older to enter. 2 on, 2 out, and here's Teixeira. Strike 1. Teixeira's at bat in the first inning. Might be, if the Twins win this game, the most important Yankee at bat of the game. First and second, nobody out. It was 3 and 2. And Teixeira bounced into a double play. Rodriguez bounced out, and Blackburn escaped a first inning jam. And then the walks refilled the bases in the second. And Swarzak came in to put out the fire. 1-1.
Well, 2 good pitches so far. Strike 1, outer half of the plate, and then he went inside for ball 1. Go back in again.
Two and 1. And now 3 and 1 with more trouble on deck. Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah, now you're in that danger zone again.
They walked him. So now the bases reloaded. Dumatre will face Rodriguez with the bases full and 2 out. Among active players, A-Rod and Tomu first and second in home runs, RBIs, and just 2.
I just still have a problem with Alex Rodriguez just because a lot of it went through that steroid era and it's tainted a little bit. Where that man on your right, he did it the natural way. And that'll be interesting as his career ends, Alex Rodriguez, what the writers do with him when that Hall of Fame vote comes. The man on the right, that man just strong.
So far, the Twins have survived issuing 6 walks to a lineup that doesn't need any help getting on base. And now Dumatre will go after Alex Rodriguez, who has hit the ball on the ground twice to Matt Tolbert at short. Popped up.
Good pitch, middle end.
Bauer with the catch. And Alex Rodriguez leaves the bases full.
Minneapolis. I'm in the Minnesota State Lottery Winner's Circle. It's a nice stack of lottery tickets, Minnesota State Lottery tickets, $100 worth of them for Jill Hoy here, celebrating her 50th birthday, Bert, from the top of the nation, of course, War Road, Minnesota. Jill, you come down, you spend the weekend here, and you got great seats to watch Jim Thome here. What's this weekend like?
Awesome. That's the only reason I'd come right now is to see Jim Thome and Joe Mauer.
And you've seen him up close and personal, celebrating your 50th birthday. Happy birthday, Bert.
Yes, happy birthday, young lady.
Well, War Road isn't the very top of the state. You'd have to go to Longworth, Minnesota, I think, a little bit north of War Road. That might be the most northern part of the main part of Minnesota. 1-1 to Thome. Just outside. 2-1. Twins haven't done much of anything against Nova here. They got a ground ball single last inning from Mauer. Had Tassone reach on an error charge to Teixeira. Lace to center field. That ball was scalded. And Thome's aboard with a leadoff single.
Well, we have seen the strength of Jim Thome in a Twins uniform and other uniforms. When he makes contact, that ball just explodes off his bat. He gets the Twins' second hit, and it comes here in the bottom of the 5th inning with nobody out. We'll talk about his power. Jim Thome, almost a career 280 hitter, too.
And power aside, one of the most discerning eyes we've seen in the last 20 years, which is why he gets into hitters' counts like the one he was just in, can expect a fastball, and then more often than not, it seems, cream the fastball, swing and a miss. Valencia didn't get that fastball, 1 strike. Valencia with a bouncer to short.
Nova doing a good job of getting strike one. 11 of 15 batters he's faced got ahead in the count.
And Martin catches one out of the dirt. 1-1. Well, as generous as the Twins have been with the walks, having issued 6 of them, Nova not only hasn't walked many people, he hasn't, I don't know if he's had a 3-ball count. He's thrown 49 pitches, only 17 balls. But now back-to-back hitters, he's fallen behind 2-1. Three and 1 with Tassone on deck. I suppose in Nova's defense, he's a little distracted here with Thome and his speed at first. You can forgive him for being a little erratic with his control.
Well, Danny should get a good pitch to hit right here.
3-1. Kareem Burnett's fastball last night for a home run.
Yeah, Martin sitting away.
This one hit to center. And it drops between Swisher and Granderson. Thome's going to round second, on his way to third, and Valencia goes into second. 2 seasoned veterans, and they got all mixed up in the gap.
Well, you can see Granderson and Swisher talking right there, but it was Granderson that was trying to take charge. And right at the last second, they both kind of pulled away. Not just a fly ball to right center. Both outfielders converging right here. And then Granderson pulled away. You can see he kind of dropped his glove as Swisher tried to get out of the way. And a kind of a gift double is ruled for Danny Valencia. Nobody touched the ball.
So now the Yankees bring the infield in for Tassone. I suppose a double given only because you didn't know who to charge the error to. Either of them could have caught it. Nobody touched the ball.
Right.
Middle infielders are playing back. Corner infielders, even with their bases. Curve over for a strike.
Let's take another look. Both guys, I'm sure, are calling for it right here. Swisher saying, I've got it, I've got it. And then he backed away when I think he heard Granderson. And at the last second, Granderson pulled away. That's actually the ball that Granderson should take right there. But a little miscommunication. See if Twins could take advantage of that.
Tapper foul, 2 strikes. So the Yankees not functioning on all cylinders here. They've been given 6 walks and haven't scored. Unlike them to do that. We've seen an error by a Gold Glove winning first baseman and a misplay on a fly ball in right center field. 2 strikes to Tassone. Struck him out. And that'll bring up Tolbert.
Well, he used all 3 of his pitches right there. Fastball, curveball, and then the quicker breaking ball right there to get a big strikeout. Nova with his 3rd strikeout.
I'm going to guess Ken Griffey Jr. and I'll go with Rafael Palmeiro. Greg Biggio and Sammy Sosa.
That's who I would have said.
I just didn't give you time.
No. They throw these things too quick. The answers.
And so now a breaking ball in for strike 1, as was the case for Tassone. So we'll see if Nova uses the same formula. Try to get Tolbert is just going to try to get the ball to the outfield somehow.
Or hit it past the pitcher.
Two strikes. Because Tomey's the runner, I'm almost surprised that the corner infielders are playing up as far as they are. Tolbert's going to try to put the ball in play here now with 2 strikes.
Going inside.
Nice block by Martin. Wow, that ball landed in front of the left-handed batter's box.
What makes this so difficult, a lot of times, you don't know little holes in there, and that ball had some spin on it, but Martin able to smother the ball.
1-2 to Tolbert. Got a piece of the breaking pitch. Catching a break here in the 5th, trying to take advantage of it. 1-2 to Matt Tolbert. Two down. Now there has to be a throw. Martin makes it. First base unoccupied. And so it'll all be left now to Drew Butera.
Boy, did Nova really knuckle down right here. Another breaking ball. Hard breaking ball straight over the top. Tolbert swings and misses.
Well, the Twins need a 2-out hit here from Butera. Hit a fly ball to left his first time up.
Well, if anything, we've seen some good pitching here today and get some big outs.
We're talking about pitches under duress. Been a lot of them on the Twins side, and now Nova faced with a tough spot. Squirted off the end of the bat. Teixeira goes to first, and the Twins get a single, a drop fly ball in the outfield, but still don't score.
Looking at partly cloudy skies. Now there is a thunderstorm possible. First pitch coming in at 75 with winds out of the southwest at 6 to 12 miles per hour.
Thank you very much. Phil DeMatre out there to start the 6th inning. The Twins losing a pitcher today, Nick Blackburn, with a strained forearm muscle coming out in the 2nd inning. That's kind of been the story of the Orioles the entire second half of the season. One injury after another to their pitching staff.
Well, Phil DeMatre here starting his 2nd inning of relief. 28 pitches in that first inning in the 5th inning. He worked out of a jam, bases loaded jam.
Robinson Cano starts the 6th inning. And off the plate, ball 1. Big matchup between the top 2 teams in the division is getting crazier. The Tigers had an early 7-0 lead, but now it's 8-7 Detroit, top of the 7th. Deep but foul down the left field line.
Remember when Robertson Cano first came to the big leagues? I mean, I think a lot of people compared him, and I think they have over the last couple of years, to Rod Carew, but with power.
Jim Cott, who is doing Yankee games, Yankee broadcasts for the New York club when Cano first came up. I think the first guy to make that comparison, and who would know better than Kitty, who played with Carew all those years. 1 and 2. Cano, Swisher, and Martin here in the Yankee 6th. Yankees had a threat in the 1st, didn't score. Bases loaded in the 2nd, didn't score. Bases loaded in the 5th, but didn't score. Fouled away. So you approach the Yankees and you say, boy, we'd like to pitch 5 shutout innings, give our guys a chance to score the first run. How do you do that? Well, the main thing is you can't walk anybody. And the Twins have issued 6 walks here today.
But they've made some big pitches when they've needed to.
1 and 2. And Cano fouls it off of Butera. Gorgeous
Absolutely
day.
beautiful day. Yeah.
One and 2 to Cano. And now 2 and 2. Yankees head home after the game, even though on the pocket schedules or whatever schedules you have, refrigerator or magnet schedules, this is the last scheduled game between the 2 teams, but another one now has been added in mid-September. We go to New York to make up a game. Driven hard to left field. Tassone is not going to be able to cut it off. So it's Cano with a great at bat and a leadoff double here in the 6th inning.
They fouled off some pitches, and DeMatre got some pitch up, and this is why I think Jim Cott and other people think that Cano is like a Rod Carew, because what he can do with that pitch, just take it the other way. Good swing, look at that. Eye to bat contact right there, and then the ball just hit so hard that it scooted right past Tassone for a leadoff double, his 33rd double of the year.
Here's Swisher. Walked, got as far as third base in the 2nd, and called out on strikes in the 4th. Inside with Swisher squaring the bunt.
Swisher does not have a sacrifice yet this year. And he knows what his job is. Get that ball over toward the right side of the infield.
And now ball 2. Each team with just 3 hits, but the Yankees have their leadoff double here in the 6th. That's it well to left. And Tassoni with room. Cano tagging. He's going to third. Here's the throw. And it's not in time. That ball seemed to die out there when it left home plate. I thought that was gone. But Cano advances to third on a fly ball, one away.
Well, he got the count in his favor, and he said the heck with hit to right the other way. I'm going to try to hit a 2-run home run. And a good swing right there, but the ball caught out the warning track. And good base running by Cano. Tagging out from second, moving to third.
Martin is 0 for 1 with a walk. 64 times he has struck out in 341 at bats. The Twins will bring the infield in here with Cano at third and one away. We've seen Dematre strike out one batter in the 5th inning, and he'd like to get a strikeout or a pop-up here in the Martin at bat. There's strike one.
Good hard breaking ball down and in.
To center. Revere with the catch, and Cano will tag the first run of the game, going to New York after the leadoff double. A sacrifice fly from Martin, and it's 1-0.
Yeah, Martin ends up picking up the RBI, but Swisher ended up hitting the ball deep enough to allow Cano to tag up and move to third.
So 1-0 New York, and here's Brett Gardner. Gardner with a walk and a fly ball. Breaking pitch on the outside corner. One and one. Again, if you just joined us, Nick Blackburn pitched an inning and a third, left with a forearm injury. Anthony Swarzak came in with the bases loaded, one out, got the Twins out of the second and through the fourth without allowing another base runner. And now Philip Dematre, who left the bases full in the fifth, has given up a leadoff double in the game's first run here in the sixth.
Jose Majares getting loose.
Breaking ball misses, and it's 3-1. Driven foul. 3-2. And a pop-up. Valencia in foul ground. Looks to have room, and he ends the inning. Yankees get a leadoff double, then a couple of fly balls deep enough to get the game's first run. Ben Revere, who will lead this inning off, had a good night last night.
Yeah, the RBI single off of A.J. Burnett. That in the second inning when the Twins kind of opened up the game with 7-0 lead, and then an RBI in the 5th inning. Let's see if he can get on base and create some havoc here.
It'll be Revere, Plouffe, and Mauer. Twins had a great chance in the 5th inning. A sharp single off the bat of Jim Thome, and the misplay in right center ruled a double. The Twins at second and third, nobody out, but then Nova really went to work, striking out to Sony and Tolbert. And Butera hit a ground ball to first, and Twins rally fizzled. Revere takes down and in ball one. Seen Revere do much bunting lately. Teams have tried to take that away from him. There's a bunt, probably too hard. Rodriguez makes the play. So Rodriguez, in his first game back from the disabled list, throws out the speedy Ben Revere, one away.
He had that knee surgery on the right knee, and you come in and you're barehanded and you basically throw off of your right knee on this play. So Rodriguez comes in, barehands it, and then on the run, flipping it over to Sharon, a bang-bang play.
One down, here's Plouffe. 1-1. And a cutter, a slider maybe. 0-2.
He's shown the curveball, the slider. The slider's the pitch that got him out of last inning by striking out to Sony and Tolbert. Good pitch count for Nova.
One and two to Trevor Plouffe. 2-2. Time for the Century Link high-speed pitch.
Well, Nick Blackburn again leaving that ball game with a forearm strain. Clocked as high as 93.
Plouffe drives it to left, but Gardner has it measured and makes the catch. 2 down, Mauer to the plate. Keep up with the Twins with FoxSportsNorth.com's Tyler Mason notebook at FoxSportsNorth.com. 2 gone on the 6th. Here's Mauer. Mauer with a liner to short. And then he grounded a single to right. It was the first Twins hit in the 4th inning, and then they picked up a couple more in the 5th. Ball one.
Hits are even at 3 apiece, so not a lot of offense by either ball club here this afternoon.
One and one.
Nova with 4 strikeouts in the ball game has not walked a batter yet.
Smashes a single to center. Mauer rounds first, takes a big turn. Granderson, who was playing him in the other gap, has to get it back to the infield quickly.
Yeah, nice play by Granderson right there. Joe thought about second, but the way that Granderson went after that ball and spun and got it back in quickly, Joe stays at first base. Fastball up. Joe lines right back up the middle. Well, Mauer picks up his second hit. The way that Granderson gets to this ball, he thought about it and then held up.
Here's Kubel. Inside, ball one. Red Sox have a 2-0 lead over the Royals in the 6th inning in Kansas City. See
if Kubel gets on here for Jim Thome, who's on deck.
How about this pitch here to Kubel? Kubel's got a good fastball, but Jason might be the best fastball hitter on the team. I got a call here.
Got it?
Yep.
Feel it? Fastball middle in. Martin sitting away.
He's got to throw it over the plate. 3-0.
Now you give Kubel a green light right here.
Absolutely. And he walked him on 4 pitches. It was almost 20 years ago. It was 601 home runs ago. Jim Thome stepped in the box at Yankee Stadium, and like Kent Herbeck, he hit his first big league home run in the Bronx.
That off a right-handed pitcher, Steve Farr. And the slimmer Jim Thome at that time.
The crow's feet weren't there 20 years ago. Thome to the plate, tying run at second. Twins had second and third and nobody out in the 5th and couldn't score. Now here in the 6th, the bases were empty. They're trying to put together a 2-out rally. Thome lined a single to center his last time up. Strike one.
Started him off with a breaking ball.
One strike to Thome. Inside, just missed the corner. Thome out of the lineup the last couple games because of a neck issue or high back issue. One and one. Fouled away. 1 and 2. Last week in Detroit, Thome hit numbers 599 and 600, and admitted to me yesterday he felt the pressure to try to do it at home and couldn't get it done, and instead it happened in Detroit. Now it's time for number 602.
Yep, right here. 3-run home run.
Got him. Pitch down and in, and the Twins leave a couple of runners aboard again in the 6th.
Sports North is brought to you by McDonald's. Try a strawberry banana or wild berry real fruit smoothie today. And by CenturyLink. Quest is now CenturyLink. Visit CenturyLink.com to learn more. Yankees with the only run of the game. We go to the 7th inning. And Jose Majares comes out of the Twins bullpen.
Yeah, 4th pitcher used so far. Again, Blackburn leaving the ball game with a right arm strain. Anthony Swarzak, Phil DeMontre, and now Jose Majares. Majares worked 2 shutout innings here on Thursday night against the Yankees.
Driven foul, 1 strike. Fox Strikes brought to you by Carrier. I've been impressed with this young guy, Nunez. You know, he did a nice job at third base, handled the plays at short. He's got some skills, he's got some power, some speed. Almost never will be an everyday player with the Yankees unless something seriously goes wrong with their billion-dollar infield.
Yeah, good utility player, just 23 years old, from Puerto Rico, signed by the Yankees in 2004. Came up last year, played in 30 games, hit .280.
Up and in, 1-2. And fouled over the Twins dugout. After a high fastball, 1 down. Well, a few moments ago, we showed you Jim Thomey's first major league home run at Yankee Stadium. He oddly was there for Derek Jeter's first home run in Cleveland, and I asked Jeter what he remembered about his first home run.
But you really don't think you've arrived until you play an opening day. So I was happy, excited to play opening day. We got snowed out, and then the next day, playing Cleveland, I hit my first home run. So it's kind of ironic that I hit a home run against Cleveland and Jimmy was over there.
Yeah, it was very, very. I mean, I think there was like 4 inches of snow on the field.
And Thomey, of course, has gone on to hit 600 more. Jeter's got over 200 major league home runs. One and 0 to Jeter, who singled and walked, and now he takes ball 2. Hit a big home run here last year. Remember, we had a rain suspended game, scoreless after 5 innings, and then we resumed it the next day, and Jeter dropped one into the bullpen in left center field shortly after we resumed the next day.
Yeah, Jeter first joined the Yankees in 1995. He came up, played in only 15 ball games. It was 96, his rookie season, that he hit his first major league home run. And ended up hitting .314 for the Yankees in his rookie season. American League Rookie of the Year in 1996.
3-0. Told me yesterday that Dave Winfield was his idol growing up because Winfield played for the Yankees and a multi-sport star, 3-1. Had a charitable foundation that Derek has kind of modeled his after.
Called the Turn 2 Foundation.
Bouncer to short. And Tolbert over to Mauer, 2 away. Let's go back to opening day, 1 day later than they thought in Cleveland, way back in 1996. And a no-doubter. Good ways up into the grandstand and left field. And as I told him yesterday, you look at that. His physique isn't any different now.
The same.
It's unbelievable how impeccably fit he is and how much he looks like he did in his rookie season.
Well, he works hard. He works very hard. And I don't know if we're going to play that or not. I remember yesterday, Dick, him even saying, you know what, hey, when I was younger, you know, I worked hard. I started working out in January. He said, now when I started hitting 30, all of a sudden it's 2 weeks off and then back at it again.
Right.
So he knows what he needs to do for his body.
The off seasons get shorter.
Mm-hmm.
One and one to Granderson. You can hate the Yankees. I know a lot of our viewers do, and you can hate individual Yankees. I don't know that you could ask a player to do any more to be more respected. He plays the game the right way, hard, and he's done it without disgrace. He's broken my heart as much as any other Twins fan, but I really enjoyed watching him play.
Well, he plays the game the right way on the field and off the field.
Two and two to Curtis Granderson. And now 3 and 2. What would an inning be without a 3-2 count? Full count to Granderson. Teixeira hoping for a chance here in the 7th. Breaking pitch, and it's high and deep to right center. Kubel chasing it. It's high off the wall. And Granderson round second on his way to third. A very hard carry. They're going to wave him in. Tolbert's throw to the plate, and inside the park home run for Curtis Granderson. The ball hit high off the fence and then hard off the warning track, and Curtis Granderson hits an inside the park home run, his 35th homer of the year.
Well, that ball misplayed out in the right center right there. Granderson hitting this ball sharply. Now Plouffe, the right fielder, Kubel right there. One of those guys have to go back a little bit, and it's Kubel that has to chase it down. And Granderson, with his speed, he takes off those long strides, and then picking up the third base coach, Rob Thompson, thought about stopping right here, but then Thompson saying, let's go, keep going. He slides head first across home plate.
So a 2-out inside the park home run, and it's 2-0. Here's Teixeira. 1-1. That's hit well to the left field corner. Gone. A home run for Teixeira. This one out of the ballpark. A low liner that he tucked just inside the foul pole, and it's 3-0.
Well, back-to-back home runs for the second time in this series against the Twins pitching staff. Teixeira hits his 34th home run.
Teixeira probably will tell Granderson, hey, you don't have to run that hard, just hit it over the fence.
For Teixeira, his 12th home run as a right-handed hitter.
So 3-0 now, and a couple of big 2-out home runs have tripled the lead. Here's Alex Rodriguez. Breaking ball over. Rodriguez with 2 ground balls to short and a pop up to first. Two strikes. Down and in. The argument for Alex Rodriguez to go into the Hall of Fame is the same used for Barry Bonds. Numbers, stats were amassed before the steroid involvement, the proven steroid involvement. And on the basis of what Bonds did before the steroid era and what Alex Rodriguez did before he admitted it, those numbers alone would warrant Hall of Fame consideration. But now, as a Hall of Famer, I suspect you don't. Yeah,
I don't agree.
Yeah, I don't either. But no one cares what I think. You're the Hall of Famer. 2-2.
Well, again, Dick, it's a Writers' Hall of Fame for the first 15 years, and it's up to them to decide. And the same can be said for Roger Clemens. You know, they're able to prolong their career at the high level because of their involvement with a substance that was not legal.
And now 3-2. Mahara's having a tough time pinning down that third out here today.
For Maharis, only his third and fourth home runs he's given up out of that bullpen.
Popped up, short center. Blue foul. Gives way to Revere, and that ends the inning. A couple of home runs for the Yankees, including an inside the park home run. We'll hear more from Jim Thome and Derek Jeter, but now it's time for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Medica.
But I think you be who you are. You know, I think if I was trying to beat someone else, they would have figured it out by now. You know, I go out there, I have respect for the game, respect for my teammates, my opponents, the organization. But I just try to do my job.
That name on the back, I think, represents your parents. You know, it represents your family, and it represents the organization that you're with. I mean, you know, Derek's been a Yankee his whole career. I mean, what a great accomplishment. You know, not many players today can say that.
I think every player that puts on a uniform would like to be with one ball club like Derek Jeter has, but nobody's represented baseball, no matter what uniform that man has worn, over his career to the highest.
There was a poll, I think 3-4 years ago, Sports Illustrated asked baseball players who was the best teammate in the game. And overwhelmingly, Jim Thome won the poll from major leaguers, many of whom voted for him, having never been a teammate of his. but
reputation.
Right. That's the point, that he's so universally respected and admired and, dare I say, loved, that he was number one on just about everybody's list.
Well, he cares. He cares about not only, him and his family and people around him, his close friends, but he cares about his teammates.
And so as we move forward through August, and every once in a while Tomey's name might be mentioned to possibly be traded to a contending team, since the Twins are not. Here's Valencia against Nova, and there's strike one. I don't think there's a Twin fan out there that would want the Twins to part ways with Jim Thome, but at least for me, I don't want him to leave for selfish reasons. For Jim, whichever team he'd be traded to, if that were to happen, they would be my team to root for come playoff time.
I think you can go back in the early 70s when the Twins had Harmon Killebrew.
Yeah.
Have to end his career in another organization.
1-1 to Valencia. He takes ball 2.
It's the game of baseball.
Valencia, Tassone, and Tolbert. It was Valencia who hit the lazy fly ball to right center field, and both Granderson and Swisher let it fall at their feet. That nearly hit Valencia. It did rattle out of Martin's glove. 3-1.
Yeah, I don't know if Danny doesn't see the ball real well here, but a couple times he's jumped to get out of the way on the breaking balls. That fastball off the tip of the glove of Martin. Nova has pitched outstanding. Only 4 hits allowed. He's gotten some big strikeouts when he's needed them.
Tapper to third and a foul ball.
In the 5th inning, runners at second and third. Nova ended up striking out Tassone and Tolbert, and then got Butera to hit a ground ball to first for that out. And then last inning, runners at first and second, he struck out Thome to end the 6th inning.
Backing out of play.
Oh, nice catch.
Up the middle and through for a hit. Valencia gets a base hit. His second hit. Ryan Casino's story of the game. Yankees misfiring early, getting some scoring opportunities, and Blackburn leaving.
Yeah, Blackburn calling out the trainer Dave Brumer and coming out of the ball game with a right forearm strain, and then a 1-0 ball game. Curtis Granderson hitting it off the wall, and Twins have a tough time getting the ball back in, and Granderson an inside the park home run, his 35th of the year, and then followed that right by Mark Teixeira's solo home run.
It'll be interesting to see which outfielder on a play like that had the backup responsibility. We all remember Kirby Puckett's great catch in left center field in the World Series in Game 6. But what you needed to also notice was Dan Gladden was there in the gap in the event Kirby didn't catch it to get the play the carom. And similarly in right center on the Granderson ball, one of the 2 outfielders, and it might have been Kubel, has the responsibility to play the carom.
I think it's more Ben Revere's responsibility because the ball was hit more toward where Kubel was at than where, Revere had to go a long way for that. Once he saw that ball was hit over the head, and I think that's what Gardy's talking about right there. It's hard to judge, but he's got to utilize his speed and then cut back toward to play the carom.
1-2 to Tassone. Stopped by Martin. Tassone was up in the 5th right after the Twins had been given a scoring opportunity. Second and third, nobody out. And Nova really bore down and struck out Tassone and then struck out Tolbert and then got Butera on a ground ball to get out of the jam. Tassone lifts it. It's a foul ball chased by Gardner. And right on top of the railing, actually hit a Yankee fan. in the hand. If a fielder had gotten there earlier, that might have been a fan interference call right there. So Tassone trying to help build a rally here in the bottom of the 7th. Up high. And it's 3-2 with Tolbert on deck. Hard to center. Granderson going back and making the catch on the warning track. So Tassone gave it a ride, and of course heading back to the dugout wondering why he couldn't do that in the 5th inning. One down. Here's Tolbert. Time for our in-game box score, brought to you by Pepsi Max.
5 hits for the Twins, 2 by Joe Mauer, a single by Jim Thome, and then the gift double, the misplaced double for Danny Valencia, and then he just led off this inning, the 7th inning, with a base hit. Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, out to talk to his tall right-hander. And Nova shaking his head a lot. Rafael Soriano warming up in the bullpen.
Tolbert, number 8 hitter. Butera hitting next. Again, the Twins just don't have much of a bench to go with. Ron Gartenhire said before the game today Michael Kadire was going to take some swings, hoping that he'd be available to pinch hit later on in the ball game. Kadire saying that his neck was feeling better and hoped to be in the starting lineup tomorrow.
He was out taking early batting practice.
That Kadire's still on the bench and isn't back in the cage, staying loose, suggests he's not going to be used here in the 7th inning, if at all. 1 strike to Tolbert. And that breaking ball that he seems to be able to throw for a strike whenever he needs to.
Well, he's got 2 types of breaking ball. That's the bigger breaking ball, and then the one that struck out Tassone and Tolbert was that slider down and in. Like that.
Check swing. And they'll appeal. No swing.
Nova coming into the ballgame, 12 wins, 4 losses. Making his 21st start. He made 7 starts last year for the Yankees. It was 1-2, an ERA at 4.5. Most victories by any rookie pitcher so far this year in the American League, 12.
Another check swing. No swing again. It's 2-2. It's hoping to roll the lineup over with some men on base. Close check swing there. Over locking his wrists in time.
Nice block by Martin right there, the catcher.
That's hit to the gap. And Granderson over to make the catch, out number 2. Tolbert hit the ball fairly well, but a little too much air time. And that'll bring up Butera. Butera with the fly to left. Ground ball to first. Strike 1.
This will be pitch 100 for Nova, so this may be his last inning. And a youngster, just 24 years old.
Another nice block by Martin. He's had a busy day behind the plate.
There's a pitch count.
Just one walk allowed. That was to Kubel in the 6th on 4 pitches. That's to the right field corner. But Swisher's there to end the inning. Leadoff single by Valencia. Next 3 men hit outfield flies onto the 8-3 New York.
Well, and come home soon.
Operation Home Base, a regular feature on Sunday afternoons on Twins baseball. And if you'd like more information, go to foxsportsnorth.com.
Again, thank you to all the service men and women who keep our country safe.
Alex Burnett comes out of the Twins bullpen to pitch to the Yankees in the 8th.
Yeah, Nova's night probably, or afternoon probably done. 101 pitches, 63 for strikes. Alex Burnett, his 52nd relief appearance, 3rd time he's pitched in this 4-game series. He worked in last night's ball game. 1 inning, gave up 3 hits, a couple runs.
First pitch, grounded to short. Moves to Mauer, 1 away. Seems like the summer's flown by, and the best evidence is next weekend being Target back to school weekend. The Twins hosting Detroit, and on Sunday the first 5,000 fans 14 and under will get a cool Twins pencil pouch.
He's looking forward to it. School starting.
Yeah. 833 Twins, a number to call to check on ticket availability.
That was the same expression I always had when my parents said that school was going to start.
Yeah, not real happy about it.
No. A lot of parents out there very happy.
Yeah. One strike. Really trying to, for some reason, look like Nick Swisher. Two and one.
He's had a steady career with Oakland, the White Sox, the Yankees, his 8th major league season. Not much of a high. You're not going to get a 280, 290 batting average.
Great stop by Mauer, and he finds Burnett at the bag.
Wow.
A Gold Glove caliber play at first base for the Gold Glove winning catcher.
Wow, very nice play. You love first basemen that go to their right. And Mauer right here, diving to his right. Picks up the ball, feeds it over to Alex Burnett, covering the bag. Nice defensive play. I was going to say, you're not going to get a high average from Nick Swisher, 280, 290, but you're going to get some power.
Especially with plays like that. You're not going to get much of an average. 2 down. Here's Russell Martin. Martin with a half swing. They'll appeal. Strike 1. Martin with a walk, a ground ball, and a sacrifice fly in the 6th that drove in the first run of the game. Snapped his bat, and Martin's living right. Little sand shot, sand wedge over the head of the third baseman. Now the ball rolls by Plouffe at second base, and Mauer alertly backing it up in short right field.
This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
So the Yankees, who got a couple of insurance runs in the 7th with 2 outs on the 2 solo home runs, now get a 2-out single in the 8th.
Oh, Martin right on top of the plate. You see the pitch inside and the bat shattering in his hands, but the ball falling in to left field for a base hit.
A couple of 100 pieces there. Little chips flying everywhere. 1-0 to Gardner. Two 2-0.
Make him swing the bat right here. Come all the way back. 17 3-ball counts so far for the Twins pitching staff here this afternoon of the 34 batters they faced. Now 35, excuse me. There have been 12 full counts.
Wow.
Swarzak a couple times fell behind, came right back through strikes.
To center.
Got the
Revere
out.
retreats.
Good job.
To end the inning on a dozen pitches. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Twins down by 3.
Game series finale. We're going to talk about it with Tim Laudner and Kevin Gorg, amongst others, on Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink, which features the Toyota postgame wrap. We'll talk about the back-to-back blast by Curtis Granderson and Mark Teixeira. One home run left the ballpark, the other one did not. We'll break it all down. Fielding grounders, Kids Day every Sunday, and Bert and Tim going to talk about fielding grounders, the proper way to do it for all those kids out there, and Gardy's postgame press conference. Get the update on Nick Blackburn to see how he's doing and what the prognosis is going forward for him. You'll get all that and a lot more on Twins Live. Dick Kramer. Bert.
Thank you, Robbie. Tough task for the Twins, down 3-0 against the Yankee bullpen, which has been very good. Specifically, David Robertson has been very, very good.
Yeah, a lot of good arms out in that bullpen. David Robertson worked here the other night, a shutout inning, making his 54th relief appearance. We talked about it, 49 2/3 innings. He allowed only 31 hits. 26 walks, 4 intentional, but 74 strikeouts in the 50 innings pitched, and is not allowed a home run. Made his first All-Star appearance this year in his 4th season with the Yankees.
Ben Revere will lead off the 8th. He tried to bunt his way aboard in the 6th, and if anything, Alex Rodriguez is playing him even shorter at third base than he was back then when he threw him out. Ball 1.
Ivan Nova, 5 hits allowed in 7 shutout innings. It's the first time this year in a start that he put zeros on the board as far as no runs allowed.
The Yankees have to be thrilled with this, coming off one of his worst starts of the year, if not his worst, and he came back with a very sharp outing here today. 2-0 to Revere. Strike on the outside corner. Revere, Plouffe, and Mauer. The Twins hope to send the middle of the lineup up here against Robertson as well. Slice down the line, but foul, and Gardner watches it twist into the seats.
We talked about Phil DeMatre earlier, a left-hander. You see Joe Nathan getting up. He has yet to be used in this series. We'll probably get the 9th inning, top of the 9th. But Robertson, same thing as a right-hander, straight over the top.
And now 3-2. Oh, knocked down by Robertson. Revere's going to get a hit anyway. A rocket up the middle, right to the glove of Robertson. We've seen Revere hit so many line drives up the middle, and it looked like Robertson was going to deny him a hit.
Well, he got his glove down there, but the ball hit very sharply, and it just slows down the line drive up the middle and then falls behind Robertson. He hustles to go get it, but alertly does not throw to first.
Plouffe, who's hit 3 outfield flies, 2 to right field, 1 to left. Need a bloop and a blast here in the 8th. Of course, with some power, hit a home run here the other night in the 1st inning.
A couple of throwovers. Ben Revere, 22 stolen bases in 29 attempts.
Down the middle, a strike. Strike 2. Didn't like it.
2 fastballs. First one down the middle, the next one outer half of the plate. Second pitch, you can see, caught the corner.
And boy, Martin has made 7 or 8 just outstanding blocks in this game. Twins haven't had that many base runners, but it seems like every time they've had somebody on base, sometime in that inning, Martin's going to block one or two.
Nova threw a lot of breaking balls in the dirt, as Robertson did right there. Jorge Posada, he did that for many years.
1-2 to Plouffe. 2-2. Right down the middle of the fastball. 1 down.
Maybe Plouffe looking for something else. Robertson picks up his 75th strikeout in 51 innings pitched. 50 innings pitched, excuse me. Fastball right there.
Lauer with 2 hits and a lineout. Not only has he played well defensively at first, he's hit well when he's been playing first base. And that's been the case again here today. Down low, ball 1. Tigers held on to beat the Indians 8-7. Potential tying run thrown out at the plate. So now the Tigers have a 4.5 game lead over Cleveland. And sliced down the line foul. 1-1.
Cleveland probably a little disappointed going into Detroit. They wanted to close that gap, and the Tigers ended up sweeping that 3-game series.
And even just in today's game, it's only August 21st, but there's a big difference between being 2.5 games out and 4.5. Tigers jumped all over Ubaldo Jimenez for 7 early runs. Here's a strike to Mauer, 1-2. Jimenez hasn't pitched very well since the Indians obtained him. The Indians gave up some top flight prospects to bring him over from Colorado. 4.5 game lead now for Detroit, and the White Sox have a comfortable lead, 7-0 in the 8th over Texas. 1-2 to Mauer. Revere takes off, pitches in the dirt, and Revere is in with a steal.
Well, he stole the base on a very good pitch because it's a curveball. That ball takes a little bit longer to get the home plate. So Martin, who had to try to pick this out of the dirt, does it. And on the throw, I mean, made a great throw, but Revere head first slide, and again going through the bag. His 23rd stolen base of the year.
Martin's made so many great blocks. How in the world did that ball landed a curve in front of home plate? He backhanded it and came up throwing. To no avail, but that's still a heck of a play.
Yes, it is.
2-2 to Mauer. The Twins need one more base runner and a blast. Grounded to third, knocked down, and Rodriguez will have no play. Mauer will reach. Revere going to third, so there are 2 base runners aboard now for Kubel.
Should be an infield base hit for Joe Mauer. The ball slicing over and kind of getting away from Rodriguez. And the ball squirting away, and he decides not to throw it. Good choice right there. Mauer credited with his 3rd hit of the ball game.
Here's Kubel. A walk. 0 for 2. Inside, ball 1.
Twins have the right guys coming up. Kubel here, and then followed by Jim Thome.
Strike on the outside corner.
And Robertson has not allowed a home run yet this year. Kubel with 9 home runs on the year.
At the knees, 1-2. Got him with a high fastball, 2 down.
Second strikeout of the inning for Robertson. It came at the right time. Nova was able to get some big strikeouts. And Robertson getting Kubel to chase a high fastball.
Here's Tomey. Came up with 2 men aboard in the 6th. And struck out. He did single leading off the 5th. And there are 2 men aboard again here in the 8th.
Power against power there.
Well, if there's something wrong with his neck, you wouldn't know it from that swing.
94-mile-an-hour fastball. And Tomey swinging right through it.
Now, if he catches up with one of those, he's going to hit it to Hennepin Avenue. 1-1. Foul back, 1-2. Twins out hitting the Yankees 7-6, but today at least the Yankees have hit the important extra base hits. Canelo's leadoff double that led to a run in the 6th, and the 2 home runs in the 7th. Twins have just 1 extra base hit. Valencia's double, it was really a fly ball between 2 outfielders. 1-2 to Jim Tomey. 2-2.
Robertson just trying to air it out right here.
Half swing. Did he go? No, on a very close call. Oh, the Yankee bench couldn't believe it. 3-2.
A high fastball. Very close.
Bauer will leave early from first. Valencia on deck. 3-2 to Jim Tomey. And a check swing foul.
Power pitcher against a power hitter.
Walked him, and they're loaded for Valencia. So another example of Tomey's discerning eye at the plate. And now the Twins, with Tomey at first representing the tying run, but not really many options to pinch run. They're going to make a move here, and it's going to be Nishioka, sore back and all, who's going to run for Jim Tomey. So Tomey checks out, having extended this 8th inning against David Robertson. Got a shot of Ron Gardenhire in the middle of the Tomey at bat, talking with Ryo Shinkawa, the translator for Nishioka, telling him, hey, better stretch out, get loose, get ready. If Tomey reaches, you're our man. There's a pop-up to right field. Swisher has it measured. Valencia on 1 pitch is retired to leave the bases full. Twins trailing on the scoreboard, and they've lost another player. An all too familiar theme this year for the Twins. As we go to the ninth inning, they trail the Yankees 3-0. Joe Nathan coming in to pitch to the Yankees in the ninth.
Yeah, Nathan making his first appearance in this 4-game series, his 38th appearance of the year. 11 of the 29 saves out of that bullpen for Joe Nathan. So getting a innings worth of work here. Let's make it a good one.
Twins needing to get 7 2/3 innings out of their bullpen today because Nick Blackburn left with a forearm strain. Here's Eduardo Nunez leading off the ninth. Strike one. See, the shadow has crept out just about across home plate right now. Bouncer to short. Tolbert has it. Over to Bauer, one away. Wednesday, it's another Rasmussen College Student Day. The Twins hosting the Orioles at 7:10. Standing room only tickets are half price for students with valid ID. Tickets are available on the day of the game. They are limited, so make your plans to come out early. And for more information about Rasmussen College Student Days, visit twinsbaseball.com. One gone, Derek Jeter to the plate. Jeter with an infield hit in the first, a line out in the second. He walked in the fifth and bounced to short in the seventh.
Good breaking ball there by Nathan.
1-1. One and two. Only one team in baseball has more wins than the Yankees, 76. Philadelphia Phillies have 81 wins. One and two for the Yankee designated hitter today. 2-2. Tolbert to his left. Out number two. It was a 1-0 game the last time Curtis Granderson came to the plate. Then he hit one deep to right center.
Yeah, this off of Jose Majares, and Granderson utilizing his speed. The ball caroms away from the outfielders. Kubo gets it back in, and Tolbert's throw to Butera at home late. So Granderson hits his solo home run, his 35th of the year.
Maybe shouldn't be surprised. Guy leading the league in triples, and he ends up extending that by one base. One strike. Inside 1-1. Now it's a save situation, a 3-run lead, and Mariano Rivera getting loose down in the bullpen. That's a fair ball, and another good play by Mauer, but he can't find the handle, and Granderson will reach. Mauer's made a nice stab and then had the ball drop out of his glove.
Yeah, a couple times he tried to barehand that ball and just couldn't get a grip on it. So the ball hit right over the bag. Chad Fairchild, the first base umpire, saying it's a fair ball. Even though it looked like it hit foul, it went over the bag, and Joe dropped it. Then finally, by the time he could get the ball, Granderson beat it out.
And they'll give Mauer an error. Here's Teixeira. Ball one.
Take another look right here, right down that line. That ball hits and then kind of right over the corner of the bag. That's the Fairchild right there saying it's fair.
The first hop hit right on the chalk line. One and 0. Anderson goes. Butera's throw not in time.
Well, Nathan, a pitcher that clubs will run against because of that high leg kick, and Granderson utilizing that to his advantage. His 24th stolen base of the year.
One and 1 to Teixeira.
Dangerous hitter right here. This guy's got good power from both sides of the plate. Mark Teixeira. All-time leaders. He's hit a home run as a right-hander and a left-hander in a ball game 12 times. Chili Davis, of course, the former Twin.
Swisher in the 7th inning hit a liner just inside the foul pole down the left field line. Now he comes up as a left-handed batter. Two on 1 to Teixeira. And he'll go to first and fill first for Alex Rodriguez. So an error, now a hit batter, and the Yankees have a threat with 2 gone. Join Fox Sports North at the Minnesota State Fair August 25th through Labor Day. Stop by the new location at 1311 Underwood Street across from the Ballpark Cafe. Watch the Twins on the big screen Sony TVs. Register to win tickets to your favorite hometown team and record a free sports update. Log in to foxsports.com and click on the event banner for complete details. Fly ball right field. Should end the inning.
Well, 5th time that Rodriguez has ended an inning here today.
0 for 5 in his return to the lineup. When we come back, we'll hear more from Derek Jeter and Jim Thome.
Anything, I think it's something you look back at your career when your career's over. I've always had a hard time sitting around thinking about what I've done because it's more of what can I do now.
I agree. I don't think you sit here today and go, oh, I'm a Hall of Famer. That's a fine line. That's for other people to decide. You know, I think that's out of respect to the game.
Well, the question I posed was, you know, paraphrasing, have they ever imagined going to Cooperstown for a weekend in the middle of or toward the end of July? And they'll both go there. But they don't want to think about it yet while they're still playing.
Well, the Yankees are going to start a guy in the 9th inning that'll probably go there too. And Mariano Rivera out on that mound looking for a save. It would be his 33rd save of the year. And he's closing in on Trevor Hoffman for the all-time save leader in Major League Baseball. Rivera has 591 career saves, the most in the American League, and second most all-time behind Trevor Hoffman, that had ended his career with 601.
Bottom third of the Twins lineup: Rene Tassoni, Matt Tolbert, and Drew Butera. Tassoni's 0 for 3. And he takes strike one.
And no secret what you're going to get from this guy right here. Rivera, 41 years old, his 17th season with the Yankees. Little cut fastball, excellent control.
And Cano fields the hop. Throws Tassoni out, one away. Not the first time that Mariano Rivera has jammed a left-handed batter.
There's what I was talking about. Trevor Hoffman, 601, and then Rivera, and then you drop down to Lee Smith, a guy that a lot of people feel he should be in the Hall of Fame. And then a couple left-handers in Franco and Billy Wagner.
Entirely possible that Rivera will tie or even pass Hoffman before this season's out. Strike one. Luke Hughes has come out onto the on-deck circle. He'll hit for Drew Butera after the Tolbert at bat. And there's that cutter inside. 2 strikes.
I think that's where the term cutter came from, is from this guy right here. You know, a lot of, they say pitchers are throwing not the slider, but the cutter. And it's just a fastball that has a little bit of a cut break to it. And Rivera picks up a strikeout.
2 outs on 5 pitches, including a strikeout, and here is Luke Hughes.
Looks like a fastball, and it just spins and just moves maybe 3 or 4 inches, sometimes a little bit more. Oh boy, what he's been able to accomplish, though, excellent control with that. The Dennis Eckersley type of control.
Here's Hughes, and there's strike one.
6 pitches, 6 strikes. No fooling around with this guy.
The memorable times when he hasn't converted a save situation, it's usually been a handle hit or a crack bat. Edgar Renteria, or, you know, when the Diamondbacks won it. Just missing 1 and 2.
Yeah, that was Gonzalez that got that.
Luis Gonzalez, right. Renteria won it for the Marlins a few years before that. 1 and 2. Just off the plate, 2 and 2. 5 walks, 1 of them intentional. Only 3 home runs allowed this year. And the Yankees take 3 out of 4 from the Twins. And the Twins getting shut out by Ivan Nova, David Robertson, and Mariano Rivera.
Well, straight over the top, hits his spot, and Hughes swings through it.
Well, Kevin, the Twins having a tough time winning back-to-back games here in August. They won a nice ball game last night, but were shut down today, Kevin Gorg.
Running to a buzzsaw today, and Ivan Nova gets his 13th point of the season. We'll break it all down on Twins Live, the post-game edition. We'll hear from Ross Gardner. We'll preview the series with Baltimore. We'll take a look at back-to-back home runs.
For the Yankees, 3 runs, 6 hits, 1 error, and 10 left.